Good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy snow day. Another wonderful sleep-in morning with good coffee, and I had pancakes and waffles, and I hope that you guys had a good sleep-in today. What I want you to do today is I want you to take some notes on the Byzantine and Russia unit that we're going to do very quickly. And I put some notes up on Blackboard. You can, once again, file, make a copy, right? Okay, please make sure that you are logged in. Or you can just print this out. And we're going to go through this very quickly, so remember, you can always pause, replay, or go back. And we're going to talk about the Byzantine Empire. Okay, so here we are. Just a quick view of the most important, probably two most important things or enduring things about the Byzantine Empire is the most famous emperor Justinian and his Church of Holy Wisdom, the Hagia Sophia. Okay. Please remember that Diocletian, from our study of Rome, does split the empire in two, with the Western Empire's capital at Rome and the Eastern Empire's capital at Constantinople, named after, of course, the Emperor Constantine. In 395, the empire is officially split back into two. Initially, forever split into two, and the western half of the Roman Empire falls in 476 CE. Unit overview. Constantinople was chosen because it sits at a crossroad of trade and it's easily fortified city defense. What is probably the most enduring legacies about the Byzantine Empire is the Code of Justinian and also the preserver of Greco-Roman culture. And when we refer to just Greece and Rome in general terms, we normally call it classical with a lowercase c. So why was it chosen? Location. You know anything about real estate, you know that location is what matters. Proximity to other places and lines of trade is what's important. So Constantinople does lie on a natural trade route along the Black Sea that separates Asia from Europe. Okay, it's also on a peninsula, and it's heavily fortified with about 2 walls and a moat. Okay, and these would defend the land part of the city, and then you can escape through the water. Here's a diagram with the moat and the 2 walls. The most famous emperor that you do need to know is Justinian. What is he known for? He does reconquer much of the Western Empire from the Goths, specifically the Ostrogoths who conquered Rome. He takes it back, and he does rework the entire Roman law system and into the Code of Justinian, and this was used for the next 1,000 years of the Byzantine Empire. Contributions. Mostly what Byzantine Empire is known for is their art, through architecture, through mosaic work, and also their icons. And the other half is they preserve what is known about the Greeks and the Romans through their libraries. This is the Church of San Vitale in Ravenna, and it's one of the most beautiful examples of Byzantine art. It was commissioned by Justinian, and Ravenna is in Italy, so he moves the western capital from Rome to Ravenna. And as you walk in this church, it is covered, every single spot is covered with mosaics. A high, intricate detail of mosaics. You can see the pictures here, okay? And mosaics, remember, they are made out of little tiny pieces of stone or glass. One of the most starking, you can always tell it's a Byzantine work of art is the mosaic work, and also these solid gold backgrounds, such as you see here. They would take pieces of gold leaf and sandwich them in between two pieces of glass, and then they would lay that tesserae, right, that small piece of mosaic, into the wall, and they would lay it at an angle. So each mosaic piece is individually placed, and it's placed so as you walk through or as you move around viewing the picture, you get a different experience, and because of the way it's glistening. And this was designed to give people the experience of the ethereal, of connecting with the divine. This is fitting since it's in a church. This is the famous mosaic of Justinian, right by the altar. And here Justinian, he has a halo, meaning that it signifies his holiness, and he's wearing the royal purple. But as you can see, these figures look like they're rather floating in space. It doesn't look like their feet down at the bottom are carrying any weight, right? And this was because it was less important, realistically portraying these figures like the Romans or the Greeks would. What is more important is getting that connection with the divine, with God. Immediately across from the painting with Justinian is a mosaic of his wife, Theodora. And here she is in royal purple. She has an elaborate crown on the top of her head, and she's also bringing gifts to the altar. The next one is the Church of Hagia Sophia, rebuilt in 537 by Justinian. And what's unique about the Hagia Sophia is, just like the Pantheon, is that it does have a dome space. And how did they create this dome space? By using what we call pendentifs. It's this triangular space in between two intersecting archways. So the dome is built around 4 arches. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and what the pendentif does is it transfers the weight from the sides of the arch, or where the actual arch is, where it might collapse, to the piers, and it transfers it forces the weight down into the ground, so therefore you can have these beautifully vaulted spaces, such as you see here. Okay, mosaic art. Remember those little tiny pieces of glass and stone? You can see some up-close examples here. Okay, the last one is religious icons. And looking at these 3 famous icons, they're, they represent different things, but they're very similar. They're from the same style, and that's because they all have the solid gold background with the gold leaf. Okay? And icons, all they are is they were paintings or images of holy people. Some popular topics are the Virgin and Child, okay, Christ as all-powerful, and other saintly figures in the church. And this was designed to help you as you prayed to form a stronger connection in your devotions that you did. The Eastern Orthodox Church is highly rooted in the use of religious icons. It still is today. However, one Byzantine emperor declared that they were idolatrous, and he actually banned them, and we call this the Iconoclasm, or the Iconoclastic controversy. And here we have images from a manuscript, and you see a person, and he's actually destroying the mosaic or the painting of the icons, because it was during the time of when it was banned, and they replaced it with very simple, plain symbols, and so we have a plain cross there. And this is one of the issues in which causes the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church to actually split. And they officially split in 1054, and we call this the Great Schism, division. So you should be at the bottom of your first page of notes. On the Venn diagram, you want to get some similarities. Okay, they both believe in Jesus and the Bible, and they want to convert, and they both have priests and bishops. Differences. Okay, in the West they use Latin. They view the authority of the Pope. Priests cannot marry. Divorce is practically unheard of. And they do recognize the authority of the Pope. In the East, they speak Greek. Priests were allowed to marry. Divorce was not common, but allowed. And they do use icons. Here's another diagram to help you. Okay. So now we're going to talk about Russia, or Rus, the early Russia. How did it get started? The Slavic people started to trade with Byzantium through the three major rivers and connecting it from the Black Sea up to the Baltic. They adopt Orthodox Christianity, and this is partly due because of the Cyrillic alphabet created by Saint Cyril. And he did this so he could help the Slavs read their native language, read the Bible in their native language. And they also adopt art, architecture especially, and also their culture. So here we have a map, and this is the Baltic Sea, okay, the Black Sea, and they're connected by three major rivers, the Volga, the Don, and the Dnieper. Here we have the Cyrillic alphabet, and you also see the art, the adoption of the icons, and the heavy use of gold backgrounds. The last one in their architecture are these onion domes. And in Eastern Orthodox religion, the onion domes represent or symbolize the heaven, the divine. And so they're very popular in Russia still today. And this was probably one of the most famous examples, St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow, in Red Square. And each, I think there's 9 or 8 onion domes around, and each onion dome represents a chapel that's inside the cathedral. Very, very beautiful. Okay, last part, decline of the Byzantine Empire. Why does it decline? Well, it's too big. They're being, just like the Roman Empire, there is a high point of peace, prosperity, and then you have, due to inept emperors, and you also have other powerful kingdoms encroaching on their land. Okay, and that is the Islamic Empire, the Seljuk Turks, taking over their land in Egypt and also the Middle East, where Israel and Palestine are. Okay. Eventually, we have the launch of the Crusades, which we're definitely going to talk about in a few weeks. And finally, the Ottoman Turks take over Constantinople in 1453. Okay. This is the last part. I suggest you pause it here. You do need to identify all of these places on your map. Okay, bodies of water, I suggest you shade them in blue. And then you use, please write neatly and carefully. You do use these, identify these regions and cities. You might want to make a key. And then where these groups settled. And the last one, you can't see it, but it's Slavs, S-L-A-V-S. Okay. If you have any questions, remember you can always email me. Next class, please make sure that you have your vocab IDs ready to go on sections 1 and 2 of Chapter 11. And I hope you guys have a great snow day and St. Patrick's Day.